Hello students, in our last class we were able to discuss taxation, the meaning of taxation, the elements of taxation, the principles of a good tax system, and the importance of taxation. And today, by the end of this lesson, we'll be able to state the problems of taxation, the problems of collecting tax. Another one will be able to explain the types of taxation, and we'll now explain the systems of taxation. These are the three subtopics we are going to be looking at today. Let's start from the first one, problems of tax collection. So let's look at the problems of tax collection in West Africa. We are looking at the problems of tax collection in West Africa. We have the first one, high cost of collecting tax. Let's say, for instance, the government, they spend a lot of money in anti-smuggling campaigns. They spend a lot of money in anti-smuggling campaigns to prevent people from smuggling goods out of the nation. So this is a very big challenge for them, because the money they may end up realizing from tax may be what small compared to the revenue they generated from it. So that's a problem of collecting tax in West Africa. Now we have the second one. We have the failure of the government to meet people's expectation. The government has failed the people of their nations. Some of them, their expectations are not being met. When the politicians enter the seat, they will promise the people good roads, water, electricity, and so on and so forth. So when they did not meet those expectations, when they did not meet people's needs, what will happen? When they come to collect the tax, what reaction will the people take? The people will now resort to agitations and running away. They will avoid paying of the tax because their expectations are not being met. Now we have the third one, ignorance on the importance of taxation. Do you know very well that tax is a civic duty? As a Nigerian citizen, you need to do pay tax. Because when you pay tax, it will help the government to carry out their expenditure. So in this case, it is your right to do pay tax. So some persons, they are ignorant of these facts, that it is their responsibility to pay tax. So what they do is to do run away. When the taxpayers, they do they come around. So they run away, and the money that will be realized by the government will no longer be there. So the government will lose that money. That's one of the problems of collecting tax. Now let's look at the next one. We have high level of tax evasion and avoidance. Remember, when we are talking about elements of tax, we mentioned tax evasion and tax avoidance. So what will the people do? The people will now look for loopholes in the system of taxation, and they will do run away. That is tax avoidance. They will look for loopholes in the system of taxation, and they will run away from paying tax. While others will do end up falsifying figures, records, and the rest of them in order to do avoid the payment of tax, and that is tax evasion. So when people practice this, it will make the government, one, not to realize the money they should get from taxation, and two, they will be stressed up looking for people that will do pay the tax. Now we have the last one. We have insincerity of tax collectors. You know, they keep on collecting tax. These people that collect tax, are they really using the tax? Are they really remitting the tax to the appropriate quarters? Now you see that insincerity of the tax collectors may come in the form of dishonesty, bribe. You see them collecting bribe. Dishonest, they will not give the actual amount they collected. Another one is over assessment or under assessment of some persons by tax collectors. In this insincerity, you see them under assessing some persons, and they will over assess some persons. How? They will meet a wealthy politician or a wealthy person, and they will reduce the taxation in order to do gain favor. And they will see someone whose income is very low, and they say, you must pay me tax. you must pay tax, and they will levy them high. So that's insincerity in the area of what? The tax collectors. So these are some of the problems of tax collection in West Africa. These are the problems we encounter while what? Collecting tax. Now let's look at the types of tax that we have. Let's look at some of the types of tax that we have. We have two types of tax. We have direct tax and indirect tax. These are the two types of tax that we have: direct tax and what? Indirect tax. Now, what is direct tax? Now, direct tax is the tax that is levied on the income of the individual and what? Property. The tax that is being levied on the income of the individual and what? Property. That's what we refer to as what? Direct tax. And we have indirect tax. The tax that is being levied on what? Goods and services. The tax that is being levied on what? Goods and services. But today, we're concentrating mainly on direct tax. So we have, I said that direct tax is the tax that is being levied on the income of the individual and what? Properties. Now let's look at the first one. We have different types of direct tax. We have the first one, personal income tax. Personal income what? Tax. Now this is the tax that is levied on the what? Income of the what? Individual. As a civil servant, you pay tax. As a businessman, you pay tax. You pay tax. That is what? Personal income tax. The tax that is being levied on the income being made by the what? Individual. Let's look at the second one. We have capital tax. Capital tax. Capital tax is the tax that is being levied on the what? Property of the individual. Property. The property of the individual, it could be cars, it could be houses. I don't know, some of you in Abia State, you can see that the government, they will levy the landlords. They will tell them to come and pay some amount of money. If they do not pay, the government will own their what? Property. That's their house. That's property tax. That's capital tax. The tax that is being what? Levied on the what? Property of the what? Individual. You have the next one. We have capital gain tax. Capital gain tax is the tax that is being levied on the profits derived from the sale of land and capital assets. The tax that is being levied on the profit being made or derived from the sale of land and what? Capital assets. When you sell your land, when you sell your properties, when you sell your assets, the government will do what? Tax you. So in the process of taxing you, that tax is called what? Capital gain tax. Let's look at the next one. We have company or corporate tax. Company or corporate tax. Now, when you talk about company tax, can you mention some of the companies that you know? Can you mention some of the companies that you know? You can mention that you have Shell, you have oil companies and the rest of them. Can you mention them? Yes. Favor mention? Yes. Peace. Can you mention them? We have different companies. So when you talk about company tax, is the tax that is being levied on the profits made by what? Companies. Institutions, private institutions, they pay tax. Like private schools, they levy them tax. That tax, you call them company tax. Oil sectors, they make profits. You call them company what? Tax. The tax that is being levied on the profits being made by what? Companies. Now we have the last one. We have poll tax. We have what you call what? Poll tax. Now this is the tax that is being levied on low income what? Earners. The tax being levied on what? Low income earners. This particular set of people, they don't pay personal income what? Tax. They don't pay personal income tax. So a certain percentage of tax may be levied generally on the people, and they will do what? pay it. You see that in the rural area, they pay poll tax. Most of them, they don't pay personal income tax. And let's look at this personal income tax again. Do you know that personal income tax do not yield much money to the government? Can you just think and tell me why? Personal income tax. Ask your parents, how much do they pay as tax? How much do they pay? Ask the teachers, ask the doctors, how much do they pay as tax? You can't compare the tax they pay with the company tax. Their tax is less than what? Company tax. Why? Why will the tax doesn't generate much money to the revenue? Have you asked yourself such question? Now, the reason is because of what? Low level of income. Most of them are not being paid well. So because they are not being paid well, they have to do what? Reduce their taxation. That's where you see that thing I told you in the elements of tax. That's where you see what? Paying again. Pay as you earn. So because of low level of income, the tax will do what? Reduce. Now we have another reason. We have forced declaration of what? Income. Some of them falsify their income. They reduce the income they earn. They don't say the actual amount they earn so that they will not be what? Tax high. That's the reason why it does not yield much money to the government. And we have the last one, the level of subsistence production. Most people, they produce just for themselves and the family. That is why we call it subsistence production. That is why personal income tax does not yield much money to the government, because of low level of income, because of low level of income, and also level of subsistence production, including forced declaration of income. Let's look at the final thing that we have for today: systems of direct tax. So let's look at the systems of taxation. We have, or you call it, systems of direct tax. Systems of taxation or systems of direct tax. We have the three of them. We have the progressive tax, we have the regressive tax, and we have the proportional tax. Now, when you talk about progressive tax, how many of you can remember that what I taught in the elements of tax? I taught you tax base and I taught you tax rate. And I said that tax base is the item or object to be taxed, while tax rate is the percentage or proportion of the tax base to be taxed. So when you talk about progressive tax, is the system of taxation in which the tax rate increases as the tax base increases. The system of taxation in which the tax rate increases as the tax base increases. That is, the amount you pay as tax increases as your tax base increases. That is, as your income increases. I have the diagram to be like this. So your tax base, the item to be taxed, while tax rate is the percentage of the tax base to be taxed. And your tax base could be income, it could be property, or any other thing. So when you are given a calculation to do, and what should be on the vertical axis should be your tax rate, and on your horizontal axis should be tax base. So progressive tax is the system of taxation in which the rate of tax increases as the tax base increases. Now let's look at the second one. We have progressive tax. Progressive tax is the system of taxation, or direct tax in which the tax rate decreases as the tax base increases. Regressive. We call it regressive because the tax rate is reducing, the tax base is increasing. For instance, you see a rich man who is paying, and also you see someone who is earning 100,000 as his salary, and he's paying tax of 2,000 naira. Then you see another person who is earning what? 50,000 naira and is still paying the tax of what? 2,000 naira. You call it regressive. Because for that, the other person whose salary is higher, the tax rate is decreasing as the tax base is what? Increasing. While for the other man, the tax rate is increasing as the tax base is what? Reducing. See the diagram. When you draw with figures, you can see that the diagram will be like this for progressive tax, and for regressive tax, the diagram will be like this. Why? Because as your tax rate is increasing, the tax base will be what? Reducing. As your tax rate is what? Increasing, the tax base is what? Reducing. We call it regressive tax because those whose income is lower, they pay higher than those whose income is what? Higher. So we have the last one, which is proportional tax. Proportional tax. Now, we have proportional tax has to do with the system of tax in which the tax rate or the rate of tax is the same, irrespective of your level of income. The tax rate is the same, irrespective of your what? Level of income. Whether your level of income is 100,000, is 50,000, the tax rate is what? The same. Let's say, for instance, the government may levy 10% what? 10% taxation on the income of company, or on the income of what? Individual, or on the income of what? This. They pay the what? The same percentage of what? Tax, irrespective of their level of what? Income. For instance, that company that is paying 10%, their salary or their profit may be 100,000. While the other person is paying 10% and his salary may be what? 5,000. So in this case, the rate of tax is the same, irrespective of their what? Level of what? Income. So they pay the same percentage of what? Tax. It may not be what? It may not really be the same amount they pay, because if you check 10% of someone who is paying 5,000, whose income is 5,000, and 10% of someone income who is earning 100,000 will not be worth the same. So the diagram will look this way. We take this shape. We have something like this. So this is all we have today. Remember that we started by listing the problems of what? Tax encountered by tax collectors while what? Collecting tax, or problems of tax collecting in what? West Africa, which we mentioned: high cost of collecting tax, failure to meet people's expectation, ignorance of the what? Tax, of the importance of what? Taxation, high level of tax evasion and what? Avoidance, and insincerity of the what? Tax collectors. And we went ahead to explain the types of tax, in which I said we have two types of tax. We have direct tax and what? Indirect tax. And I said that direct tax is the tax that is being levied on the income of the individual and the what? Property. While indirect tax is the tax that is being what? Levied on goods and services. Remember that I said that we will concentrate mainly today on direct tax, which we have different types to be: personal income tax, we have personal income tax, we have company tax, we have capital tax, we have capital gain tax, and we have what? Poll tax. We have a lot of them, but I chose 5. I said that we have capital gain tax, capital tax, personal income tax, poll tax, and company tax. And lastly, we discussed about the systems of taxation or direct tax, in which we have progressive tax, regressive tax, and proportional tax. And I said that progressive tax, in progressive tax, the rate of tax or tax rate increases as the tax base increases also. That is the amount you pay as tax increases as your income also what increases, and we have the regressive tax in which your rate of tax decreases as your income increases. And also we look at proportional tax in which the rate of tax is the same irrespective of your level of income. This is where we call it a day today, but take this assignment to be submitted in our next class. So here is the assignment. The table below shows the incomes and rates of income tax levied on professionals in an economy. Look at the table. We have profession, we have doctor, engineer, civil servant, nurse. So these are their income per month in dollars. So we have 8,000, 7,000, and the rest. This is the tax rate. This is the tax rate. We have 10%, we have 12%, we have 18%, and you have what? 15%. This is in percentage. This is in percentage. So the question is, what system of taxation was employed by the government? What system of taxation was employed by the government? Number 2, give reasons or reason for your answer in number 1. And the last one, with the head of a diagram, explain the system of taxation employed in the word table. Thanks.